Silence lingers before the world's headlines flash, and in that hush you sense a tug. Will today be steered by distant alarms or by the quiet pulse of heaven? Dawn lies pale on your window, the first birds testing the air, inviting you into stillness, an anchored truth deeper than any broadcast. You lift your thoughts to the God who is steadfast refuge, whose voice guards your heart and shapes every word you speak. This moment exists so you can surrender schedules, tune your inner perspective to His kingdom, and rise radiant with hope. Psalm 460 is, "Be still and know that I am God." These few words invite you to exchange frantic noise for calm certitude, to rest before you react. What weight from yesterday or headline from dawn do you need to entrust to His care? Which longing do you long to voice before opinions echo louder? Now, as your heart grows still, we step into the first light of prayer. You draw a slow breath, letting the soft rustle of curtains remind you that wind answers no newsroom cue, and birdsong never waits for ratings. Creation itself models the pause you crave. In this still hush you notice how your pulse obeys hurried patterns learned from scrolling feeds. Yet here, you allow each beat to settle. Like sand sinking to a riverbed, you release clenched shoulders, uncurling fingers that, moments ago, were eager to swipe and skim. A gentle dawn breeze brushes your face, and you imagine the spirit moving with equal tenderness through the chambers of your mind, sweeping away overnight residue of worry. The room grows brighter, but you resist the old urge to fill it with noise. Instead, you listen for the faintest whisper, "Peace, be still." The phrase is familiar, yet it lands fresh, carrying authority that no news anchor can rival. You realize stillness is not absence of activity, it is deliberate attention to presence. As you wait, stray thoughts gallop, shopping lists, deadlines, global turmoil. But you greet each rider, thank it for arriving, and let it trot past the open gate of awareness. One by one they exit, leaving space for holy calm. See Isaiah 30:100. Receive in quietness and trust is your strength. Strength is redefined here, not muscle nor momentum, but the unwavering core that forms when you rest in God's timing. Now, picture yourself standing beside a lake at sunrise. Mist hovers over glassy water, every ripple reflecting luminous pink. You drop a stone of gratitude, perhaps for breath, perhaps for a loved one's laugh, and watch rings widen in perfect symmetry. Gratitude, like stillness, multiplies impact without striving. You feel tension melt, replaced by slow wonder. The Creator who suspends galaxies also attends to your mood before breakfast. Time slides on. Yet this sanctuary travels with you. In traffic or office corridors, you can revisit it with a single intentional breath. Promise yourself this. Anytime headlines shout, you will recall the hush of this hour, the unhurried cadence of mercy. You are not uninformed. You are well-formed, shaped by presence before data. That formation becomes silent strength others will sense long before they hear you speak. Let the world wake busy, you wake beloved. Let the news cycle spin, you remain grounded. The stillness you foster now will tint every task with quiet courage, so when screens ignite, your spirit stays uncluttered, tuned to a calmer frequency. The heartbeat of God threading through ordinary hours. From the quiet harbor you just entered, you now lower a firm anchor into waters that once mirrored every stormy headline. You picture knots of fear and fascination loosening As the chain sinks, each link forged from promises older than empires. Screens may soon parade breaking alerts, but beneath that restless surface, a steady undertow of grace keeps you from drifting. You hold a Bible, whether leather, bound or glowing on a phone, and feel its weight, not in ounces but in unshakable certainty. Pages whisper history, prophecy, poetry, all converging on a single revelation. God's word endures when kingdoms rise and fall, when algorithms shift, when opinions clash like cymbals. Hebrews 61:9. Why have this hope as an anchor for the soul? Firm and secure. Hope here is no wishful breeze. It is a deep, set mooring that resists every cultural current. When breaking news rattles windows, this verse steadies the beams of your mind. You remember a storm-tossed Galilean boat, disciples gripping frayed ropes while waves towered. Their security did not lie in better sails, it lay in the calm voice that commanded waters to rest. That same voice now speaks through timeless lines you recite aloud, engraving them on the walls of thought where anxious headlines once flashed. You sense how truth bends reality's glare, facts remain, yet fear relents, because interpretation changes under eternal light. Take a verse, perhaps the one above, and carry it like a pocket stone. Let your thumb find its edges whenever notifications pulse. Each touch reminds you that reality is larger than the latest chart or crisis. You may still scan updates, but you read them through covenant lenses. Statistics become petitions, controversies invite compassion, tragedies stir holy lament rather than numb scrolling. Ancient truth transforms consumption into intercession. John 17:170, sanctify them by the truth. Your word is truth. Sanctify means set apart, distinguish, refine. Scripture does not isolate you from society, but insulates your perspective with holiness. Consider creating morning headlines of your own. Mercy renews every dawn. Grace outpaces failure again. Love remains unbroken across continents. When worldly reports amplify chaos, your heart recalls this alternate front page, and peace governs reactions. Conversations shift too, instead of echoing rumors. You introduce wisdom shaped overnight by divine newsrooms. People notice composure that feels like sheltered harbor amid sirens. And some will ask where you dock such serenity. You do not ignore reality, you interpret it. Ancient truth gives vocabulary for lament without despair, action without panic, patience without passivity. It marks the shoreline between information and formation. One fills mind, the other molds character. Each time you revisit the verses, chains of the anchor tighten, holding you against undertows of half, truth or distortion. You feel spine straighten, gaze lift, speech soften. Soon you will step into environments pulsing with opinions. Yet you know how to return here, breathe, recall, repeat. The anchor remains. You simply reel yourself back along its chain. With truth secured, faith sets the tone, not the news. And your day unfolds like a vessel guided by quiet stars instead of flashing billboards. You step from anchor toward armor, remembering that even a ship secure at harbor can take in subtle leaks. So, too, your soul needs vigilant watch once the morning gates swing open. In the hallway, a radio murmurs political clash. On the counter, a phone headline blares economic worry. Yet you have prepared a quiet shield, shaped overnight, burnished by prayer, ready to meet those arrows before they pierce. You place a hand over your chest as if fastening invisible plate mail, naming each piece gratitude, humility, discernment. Gratitude deflects envy. Humility diffuses offense. Discernment filters seductive half-truths. The gesture feels symbolic, but heaven records it as genuine readiness. Proverbs 4:3. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. This is no gentle suggestion, it is a royal decree, recognizing your heart as command center from which words, choices, and influence surge outward. Imagine your inner life as a garden bordered by low stone walls. Each thought is a seed. Some bear fragrance, others thorns. You notice early which seedlings deserve water and which require swift uprooting. When fear sprouts, you tug it before roots tangle deeper hope. When cynicism creeps, you expose it to the light of blessing until it withers. A guarded heart is not a locked vault, but a tended orchard. Its fruit feeds both stranger and friend, yet weeds find no permanent soil. You understand now why stillness preceded truth. A calm surface revealed submerged hazards, and the anchor set firmness. Guarding completes the trio, ensuring no stray current or floating debris dislodges peace. You outline boundaries for the day like gentle fencings, limited scroll windows. Conversation thresholds that refuse gossip, pauses to breathe before replying. Such limits feel narrow only until you taste the wide freedom they grant. With each boundary honored, you sense spirit, air circulating, fresh, mountain clean, through corridors once choked by urgency. Your face softens, posture lifts, co-workers may ask if you slept unusually well. You did more, you kept watch with the keeper of your soul. At midday, tension may press like humid weather. You already foresee it and rehearse your response, a slower exhale, a whispered verse, perhaps this one repeated under your breath. You picture a drawbridge lifting over castle moat, letting negative chatter pace outside while compassion converses inside. Some will label your calm as detachment. Actually, it is deeper attachment. To joy, to wisdom, to Christ himself. News can still inform you, but it cannot deform you, because every update encounters a gatekeeper trained at dawn. Later, when screens replay disasters, your guarded heart transforms reaction into intercession. You weep where pain is real, but tears water seeds of resolve, not seeds of alarm. You choose words that mend rather than magnify panic. Friends may scroll alongside you, yet they notice how your pulse steadies conversation. That steadiness invites them to lower their own buzzing defenses and wonder where yours came from. Without preaching, you offer a simple testimony. Tone follows trust. Trust begins with guarding. And when night returns, you will kneel beside that same garden wall, surveying which thoughts grew tall, which weeds attempted resurgence. You will thank the master gardener for vigilance shared, then rest, knowing watch will resume with tomorrow's light. Thus day by day, faith, not news, writes the ruling headline across your life, heart secure. Peace prevails. You open your mouth to greet the day's first human face. Maybe a spouse, maybe a stranger at the cafe, and you remember that tone carries spirit long before logic lands. Every syllable can kindle courage or smother light. So you pause, letting breath rise from the still harbor, flow past the guarded gates, and shape what emerges. Words are winged messengers. Once released, they travel hallways and phone lines, leaving either bomb or bruise. You picture each sentence as a seed blown across invisible soil. Some will take root in tired hearts, others may drift away, but all bear marks of their origin. In this moment you choose origin wisely. As Ephesians 4:2-9, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs. The verse sketches a blueprint. Speak to construct, not collapse. Tailor tone to the listener's fragile architecture. You rehearse simple phrases that elevate. Good morning. How can I serve you? I'm grateful for your help. Each one sounds ordinary until you notice eyes lift, shoulders ease. Compliments become small resurrections, apologies, quiet revolutions. You train lips the way musicians tune strings. Slow turns until harmony rings clear. If a headline later sparks debate, you breathe twice, sift reaction through the sieve of grace, and offer questions instead of accusations. Curiosity disarms. Gentleness outshouts rage without raising volume. Imagine conversation as river current, harsh words erode banks. Patient ones shape fertile deltas. When gossip approaches like muddy runoff, you redirect flow toward blessing, perhaps by sharing a story of kindness easier to ignore than scandal. You watch how atmosphere shifts when negative charge finds no conductor. Even silence, when chosen rather than forced, speaks gold. It signals that not every opinion demands counterpoint, that peace sometimes grows best in quiet soil. During meetings, you note how jokes can heal if seasoned with respect. Sarcasm may earn quick laughs, yet often leaves unseen bruises. Instead, you select humor that lifts anxiety like morning fog. Written words claim equal vigilance. Emails, texts, posts. Before hitting send, you trace each line for hidden barbs, polish until message shines with honesty and hope. You consider whether digital impulse aligns with dawn intention. The practice extends to self-talk. Your internal narrator now echoes heaven rather than headlines. You are beloved, commissioned, never alone. Such statements carve new neural paths, and soon outer speech mirrors inner blessing. When fatigue later tempts sharp replies, you return to these inner affirmations, letting patience reset tempo. You marvel how spirit-led words function like light in early windows, revealing beauty already present yet previously unseen. Evening will tally today's vocabulary, but you choose quality over count. If few sentences pass your lips, each will be distilled compassion. If many, each will glide on currents of respect. The world measures influence by volume, heaven measures by resonance. Commit now, speak, as one whose microphone is eternity, whose audience includes the listener who first breathed life into dust. Let faith continue setting the tone, allowing every headline, good or grim, to find you fluent in a higher language. You rise from the still shore of your thoughts and walk an inner ridgeline where morning light stretches far beyond city roofs and satellite dishes. From this high place you watch the day unfold like a vast valley, roads threading outward, conversations sprouting like saplings, crises simmering in distant squares. Headlines attempt to frame the panorama in tight rectangles, but you hold a panoramic lens, eternity's horizon. Through it, success looks less like applause and more like unseen kindness. Setbacks read as training fields where resilience blooms. You feel worries shrink to scale when compared with unending mercy, the way mountain peaks make billboards look like stamps. News cycles tally profits, polls, and power. Your kingdom lens measures justice, mercy, and humble walk with God. tasks that once felt mundane. Replying to emails, stacking dishes, answering a child's question, now glitter with royal potential. Because service is currency in this realm. You picture each chore as a seed planted in ground watered by grace. Fruit may ripen unseen by cameras. Yet heaven records harvests invisible to trending graphs. You enter meetings not just to protect bottom lines, but to elevate every person's dignity. Each decision gains a new metric. Does it echo the king's character? If yes, you proceed. If not, you recalibrate without shame. This shift does not dull your intellect, it sharpens insight. You pass reports for opportunities to heal, to steward, to reconcile. Economic downturn becomes invitation to generosity. Social tension signals chance to speak peace. You are no utopian dreamer ignoring data. You are strategic ambassador carrying blueprints from a higher capital. Where headlines scream scarcity, your lens reveals fields white with possibility. Where stories highlight betrayal, your eyes scan for unsung loyalty. Even personal pain reframes here. A delayed promotion becomes apprenticeship in patience, an unexpected bill, exercise in trust. You refuse shallow optimism, yet you also refuse despair, embracing paradox, mourning with those who mourn while expecting redemption. Friends notice your balance, how you acknowledge complexity without forfeiting hope. They may ask about this uncommon orientation, and you will explain quietly. You read the same news, but under different lighting. As afternoon shadows lengthen, you practice quick recalibrations. Step back, breathe, picture valley again, ask how eternity views this moment. The habit takes seconds yet shifts entire atmospheres. You bless the driver who cuts you off, forgive the terse email before drafting your reply. Prioritize presence over productivity at a coworker's desk. By evening, metrics accumulate, fewer harsh words, deeper laughter. Choices rooted in values no stock chart can quantify. Your kingdom perspective does not float above reality. It saturates it like sunrise saturates fog, revealing contours previously obscured. Faith, still steering tone, now also steers sight, and you move through the world as one who knows the final page. Love wins, peace reigns, light endures. You step into evening's glow. Office lights dim, street lamps wink on, yet the brightness within outshines every marquee. Radiance is no spectacle, it is quiet evidence of presence carried from dawn to dusk. Stillness became anchor, guard, and lens. Now that inner sunrise spills outward, brushing every glance and task with warm gold. Colleagues feel composure, the barista hears kindness. A child senses patient attention. All wonder how you stay unshaken while headlines churn. Your life itself becomes a silent bulletin. Peace prevails despite breaking news. Witness begins where speech may never reach. You hold doors, offer seats, check on neighbors, send notes of gratitude. These gestures look small beside global drama, yet heaven measures brilliance by heart, not wattage. When discussions spiral, markets falling, violence spreading, you acknowledge pain without surrendering hope, and others notice courage that cannot be faked. If they ask, you answer simply. Tone obeys trust. Trust springs from a source unshaken. Radiance also pulses through your digital footprint. Before posting, you recall the garden gate and kingdom horizon, sharing resources rather than rumors, prayers instead of panic. Metrics may remain modest, but light does not compete with darkness, it replaces it. Someone scrolling at midnight may find your words a candle in blackout, breathing easier without ever telling you. Crisis close to home tests brightness. A friend phones with diagnosis, a city siren wails, yet you respond first with presence. Staying past awkward silences, bringing meals, offering listening ears. You arrive as an ambassador of the morning cultivated in secrecy. Fear still knocks, but you open the door with faith beside you. Gentle strength spreads, and soon others speak kinder, plan wiser, because one person carried daylight inside. Radiance demands replenishment. Midday you stole a breath, commute you whispered an anchor verse, and tonight you will refuel fully. Witness fades when burned as performance, it blazes steady when fed by continual communion. So you schedule Sabbath spaces guard sleep, and welcome worship, trusting dawn to provide fresh oil. If failure smudged your glow, a sharp word, an impatient gesture, you accept forgiveness quickly, polishing the lamp again. Imperfection does not void light, it proves need of the source. Repentance itself becomes part of the witness, showing cracked glass can still refract glory when turned toward the sun. Thus faith set today's tone, not the news, through you. Faith-colored rooms you entered, screens you touched, and streets you crossed. Light spreads quietly, yet the pattern is unstoppable. Stillness to truth, guarded heart to spirit-led words, gay kingdom perspective, a radiant witness. Somewhere a stranger now imagines dawn for the first time in weeks, simply because you walked past. That headline belongs on eternity's front page. Take a final, unhurried breath. Notice how the sunrise you welcomed now lingers as gentle afterglow across mind and muscles. Recall one headline that worried you and offer it, palms open, into God's steadfast care. Remember one person you will meet today. Whisper a blessing over their name. Feel gratitude spreading like warmth along ribs, preparing voice and vision for service. Carry this peace into every corridor and comment, trusting the one who authors dawn to edit every story. Sit in quiet awareness of his nearness as daylight strengthens around you. Let your heart rest in wonder.